The center position. So many back-to-the-basket legends from Kareem, Hakeem, Shaq, Patrick Ewing have all played this position. And now there's a lot of modern-day three-point shooting and rim-running centers in the league. This is Hit the Rim, and in today's video, I'll be ranking the top 10 centers going into the 2025-2026 NBA season. But before we even get into the list, I do want to take care of a few house cleaning things. Players who are not expected to come back from injury will not be on this list. Players who were injured at the beginning of last season but played towards the end of the season and in the playoffs will be on this list. This list is a combination of what the player looked like last year and what the potential upcoming season will look like this year. Just because one player is one spot above someone else doesn't mean there's a big gap between the two. And please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe button to help the channel grow, as well as commenting down below your own top 10 list of centers. Also, before we even actually get into the list, I do want to get a few honorable mentions out of the way. I only have 2 this time, so we'll keep this pretty short. My first honorable mention today is Miles Turner. When he was in Indiana, he was considered the defensive anchor. He was consistently a good shot blocker. He shot the long ball at a pretty good percentage, but it kind of does feel like throughout the years his defense has kind of dropped a little bit. And I guess my biggest question is, how is he going to look on the Bucks? I know that I said earlier that this whole entire list is what they looked like last year and what they're going to potentially look like this year, but I feel like with the depth of the Bucks, I'm not really sure where I could place Miles Turner because he might have to do a lot of carrying alongside Giannis. My next honorable mention is Joel Embiid. He did actually just end up playing his first and last preseason game this year. While I did look at the box score only, he did look like he had a decent game. We all know what he's capable of. Always had a question on the health. That's basically his biggest question and biggest concern. And even when he did play last year, he didn't look good at all. So I guess like the only reason why he's kind of left off the list is because I don't really know how much he's going to play even this season. And now to get on to the actual list, at number 10, I've got Jared Allen. I do believe he's an underrated player. His defense has always been solid. He's a really good rim protector. He's a rebounding monster. He led the league in field goal percentage last year at around like 70%. After grabbing defensive rebounds or even offensive rebounds, I would say that he's a pretty good decision maker in the way that he passes the ball. He's got a really good mid-range game, which makes his play with Jared Allen really good because he's able to help him stretch the floor a little bit more. And I do feel like the biggest weakness with him is the fact that his playoff performances haven't really been that great. Really great regular season performer, but postseason isn't really there just yet. At number 9, I've got Kristaps Porzingis. I think he's going to be a great running mate next to Trae Young. He does shoot the ball from a distance. He blocks shots at a good rate. He's an effective rim protector. The only thing is he does need to stay healthy. The health is really going to dictate if he actually continues to stay on this list for the next few years or if he drops off by this year. And also, I think with his role in Atlanta, he is going to be looked at to space the floor a little more with Jalen Johnson and Trae Young. So I think he's going to have a bigger role than he did with the Celtics this year. At number 8, I've got Mr. Rudy Gobert, who apparently is now bald. He's won the Defensive Player of the Year award multiple times. He's the defensive anchor on both teams that he's played on. He's still a good rim protector, but I do feel like the last few years he has kind of shown a little bit of decline in his defense. It doesn't mean that he's a bad defender by any means now, but I do feel like there has been a decline in the way that he has been defending the last year or so. He honestly, because of the fact that a lot of guys are getting better with age, he might just end up falling off of this list just like Porzingis next year. And everyone knows this. I don't really feel like it has to be said about him very much, but he just needs to be better offensively. He's got really bad hands. And will he ever turn into like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar like he did against the Lakers? No, I probably don't think that, but you know, it'd be nice to see him improve his offense a little bit at least. At number 7, I've got Bam Adebayo. We all know what Bam can do defensively. I do feel like he's going to end up playing center. He could play power forward because of Khalil Ware, but I don't think Khalil Ware has established himself as the starting 5 on the Miami Heat yet. Plus, Bam feels like he's literally been like the guy that's been running center for them for like the last like 5-6 years, I would say. I love Bam so much. It really does hurt me to put him this low on the list, but his biggest weakness is just he lacks offensive aggression. It feels like his offense regresses every year. I know that last year he said he was going to start taking threes, but just because you start taking threes doesn't mean that it has to take away from your post game and everything else that made your game really great. He's such a skilled player, but it really doesn't feel like he's utilizing his skills to the fullest potential that it can be. In a way, the way that I kind of look at Bam is the same way that I look at Anthony Davis. The idea of what you can be is actually better than what you have been the last few years. It just really sucks to say, but like I really do like Bam Adebayo, and to put him at 7, it just, I don't know, it just really sucks. At number 6, we got Alperen Şengün. Do I think based off the few years that Şengün has been in the league that he's better than Bam Adebayo? No, by any means. But I do think the combination of what he did look like last year and what he's going to look like this year is really what's going to put him higher on this list. I feel like he's a guy that could aim for the top 5, top 4 next year. He plays like a mini Sabonis and a tiny Jokic. Basically, like they're all 3 of those players are kind of in the same mold in my eyes. He brings the ball up the court a lot, and he's going to have to do that a lot more because of the injury to a guy like Fred VanVleet. His offense in the paint is really solid, from things like floaters to being able to drop step people to even having like a little floater game here and there. I think Şengün's offense has just been very solid throughout his career. Just the biggest thing is he needs to work on his defense. If he had elite defense like Bam Adebayo, he would definitely just be way up on this list. But unfortunately, he doesn't do that. But hey, his offense and playmaking is still one of the biggest reasons why the Rockets did end up as the 2 seed last year. At number 5, I have Ivica Zubac. Zubac had a career year last year year, especially playing next to James Harden. I really do feel like the addition of James Harden and kind of the way that he used him as a roller is what really improved Zubac's game. He's always consistent at putting the ball in the basket. He's got really good interior defense. He rebounded very well, which the thing that surprised me is the fact that sometimes he would grab 20 rebounds a game. Like he averaged like 12 rebounds, I think, throughout the last year. In the playoffs, when they did go against Jokic in that first round, he did guard Jokic really well, and I kind of felt like because of how big he is, he was the perfect guy that would actually be able to match up with Jokic on the defensive end. It does feel really weird putting him this high because he really had like most improved numbers. It feels really weird being able to put him this high, especially because he was only shown 1 year of this type of play. He's been consistent throughout his entire career, but last year was the year that he really did take a leap, and I just really hope that he continues to play this way because I feel like he could stay in the top 5 conversation if he does. At number 4, we've got Domantas Sabonis. This dude is just a monster on the offensive end of the court. Kind of like the way I look at Julius Randle, he's one of the few guys in the league that's still considered like a bruiser type player. He was the rebounding leader last year. He passes the ball pretty well out of the post, and he does kind of feel like the middle ground between a Şengün and Jokic. Like if you were to kind of like take the mold of both of those players, it would be Domantas Sabonis. The biggest thing that really does hold him back from being higher on this list is that his defense isn't that good. Also, if you do watch his game really isn't the smoothest and like funnest to watch. I think it just comes with the whole bruiser mentality and the fact that he's kind of putting his body into everyone. And I feel like without him, the Sacramento Kings would not even be able to sniff a bottom seed in the play-in or playoffs. At number 3, I've got Karl-Anthony Towns. Oh my god. Please ignore that. I don't know, I just kind of felt like doing that. It comes with the territory. And look at that photo that I put of him. He's the best shooting big man in today's game. His offense is always consistent aside from his post game. He drives to the rim pretty well, especially because of the fact that he's been mostly playing a stretch role throughout the last few years of his career. I feel like one of the underrated things about his game is that he's really good at being able to pass out of the post. But I also kind of think that does align with one of his weaknesses, which is that he still has difficulty backing down players. Like, I still feel like anytime you see him in the post, you just see the Boogie Cousins meme. And heck, it literally happened last year against Mo Wagner of the Magic. Also, like, the thing is, his defense just needs work. He's just such a defensive liability. I feel like having guys like Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby around him, and Jalen Brunson is what really helps them kind of hide them. Even though he is 7 foot, it's kind of hard to hide the biggest dude on the court. So if he's able to improve his defense kind of the way that Andrew Wiggins did when he got to the Warriors, I don't know if it would really move him up on the list because of who we have at 2 and 1, but I think it would solidify him as number 3 ahead of a lot of other people. At number 2, I've got the future GOAT, Victor Wembanyama. Offensively, I really feel like the only hole in his game is his paint offense. But other than that, he honestly truly is just an alien. If he didn't have a blood clot to end the year, he would have been running away with Defensive Player of the Year. He is my definition of a maximum potential player. From his handle to his shooting to the way that he's able to just get to the rim, dunk. Dude doesn't even have to jump to dunk. Like, I just really, like, he is legitimately just such a freak of nature. More than Giannis, he is an alien. But then again, that's like his whole entire like branding as well. And like the biggest thing is that like he literally is by himself just a defensive anchor. If you have him on the floor, the entire team as a whole gets better on defense. He was playing with guys like 40-year-old Chris Paul, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan, Devin Vassell. These guys aren't like all defensive type players, but the moment that he was just on the floor, it could have been him and 4 other dudes that they picked off the street. He would somehow get the Spurs to like a top defense still. He's just that amazing. And at number 1, I've got Nikola Jokic, arguably the best player in the league. He averaged a triple-double last year, which was surprising because his numbers have always gotten close to triple-double numbers, but I never thought he would actually be able to average a triple-double, which is funny because Russell Westbrook was also on the team with him last year. You can see him in the background of the photo right there. He's a very efficient scorer from like basically anywhere, at the rim, from 3, you name it. I kind of do also feel like his defense is a little underrated. Yeah, he is really slow-footed, but he plays the passing lanes and is able to get a lot of deflections pretty well. And it does feel like for the past maybe like 4 or 5 years, he's been like literally top 3 in MVP voting. He's MVP caliber every year of his career so far, and probably still will be next year. And with that, all 5 positions in the NBA have had their top 10 people ranked in my eyes. I don't know what's next, but yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye.